I ain't gonna really be on here like too long because I literally just got off of work and shit like that. So I ain't really gonna be on here for too much longer. I really ain't. Well, I'm really not, rather, that's the correct way to say it. Um, you know, because I'm supposed to be doing two other videos. I'm supposed to be giving y'all two more Yes for the Mess videos. And I'm going to do the videos. I am. Don't get me wrong, I'm gonna do them. But I'm probably going to drop them tomorrow. You know, have them scheduled to come out tomorrow. But that's besides the point because there may be other people that's going to join this live probably. But this is my thing because I'm really over the situation with everything that happened on this past episode with G status and all of this other stuff. And the shit that's been going on with Delicious and things of that nature, and people trying to police other people's feelings on the situation. I can honestly say that I don't appreciate it at all. Okay, we're all entitled to our opinions, we're all entitled to our feelings at the end of the day. And I just feel like at the end of it all, some of us grew up differently. Some of us grew up feeling like the word nigga was the worst thing to be said from another race. That's still how I feel about it. You have your own racial slur or anything else that you can turn around and make it into something else. You don't get the right to use that. I still feel that way. I don't care what excuse anybody makes about that. At the end of the day, Delicious had no business saying it. And let me just address another thing too. Like we keep on getting that Charlie was left off the hook for what he said about Delicious. And I feel like that's not the case here. He wasn't left off the hook for a motherfucking thing. Period. We said what we everybody, and I can't speak for everybody. I can only speak for myself because I'm the only one here right now. But I can honestly say that people did call Charlie out for telling Delicious that she should get her dick cut off. But this right here ain't about Charlie. It's about Delicious. We've seen Delicious make an offense one time and then to come back on this episode and make other offenses yet again. That's why she's under fire right now at the end of the day. And the only people you can be mad at is the person that said it. You can't get mad about what everybody got to say. When you got on a reality show, you already knew what it was going to be. You already knew everybody was going to have their opinions. You already knew that everybody was going to feel a way about whatever. You already know that. You already know that. So at the end of it all, I just feel like all of this is just BS to me. All of it is. And Delicious has support. People feel like Delicious didn't do anything wrong. And that is my issue here. My issue is that people are really, hey, really me.
Hey,
Um,
bro.
my my issue is that people really feel like what she did was excusable, and it's not. And I just want people to know that you should be held accountable when you offend somebody. And that's just really where I'm coming from with it. Like I've said and done things to offend people, but the difference between me and most motherfuckers is that I um I take accountability for my shit all the time. When I know I've said something fucked up, I take accountability for it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like just like earlier today when we were on uh YB's live earlier today, and this dude called in and he came in with an attitude, thinking that he gonna chump us off and all that other shit, and that wasn't finna happen. One thing about it though, Ebby handled that more so than we did, but he came in saying that we didn't have a right. We're trying to create a certain narrative, and there's no narrative to create in this bitch. If there's a narrative to be created, it's one that Delicious created on her own. At the end of the day, at the end of the day. So, I mean, at the end of it all, like, who really gives a fuck at this point? Like, I'm over it. Um, we can sit up here and point fingers. Like, I'm just over the finger pointing and shit. That's what I'm over. I'm over the finger pointing. Oh well, if Charlie didn't say this, she wouldn't have said this. Stop. Just stop. And these lives and shit ain't making it any better. I ain't watched nobody's live. The only live that I looked at was Jaws live, and I didn't even see it because I was around somebody at the time. But I was not watching Delicious's live, and I did not watch Dre Simber's live. I don't know if y'all did though.
I saw Dre Simbers live, and Miss Girl started crying. She was strumming her pain with her fingers. And my whole thing about it is, I'm not under. If anybody need to be crying and upset and having the boohoo tears, it really needs to be Delicious. And I kinda looked at her live. She had some boy up there that was friends, but he said, "Girl, after this, me and you can't be cool like that no more." And I respected him so much because it's like, friend or not. That's just like you, Scotty. If you was white and you said that to me, and as much as I love you down, I would have to distance myself from you a little bit too. I would.
Mhm.
And he was just like, "Look, I'm not saying we'll never be cool again." He said, "But right now, Miss Girl, you need to give me some time." Because
Right.
he just wasn't here for it. And I respected him so much for that. He won't mean, he won't rude, he didn't cuss her out. It was none of that. It was like how we talking right now. And he was
Right.
like, I just right now, I need my space from you. I'm not saying that you were racist, but I gotta push back right
At the end of the day, though, the thing that annoys me the most is that she said that shit, but they don't think that we're supposed to have any rebuttal for what was said. And that's the part that kills me. You know what I mean? Like she can come on and say something offensive as fuck, but we can't have no rebuttal for it. We can't call it out if it's wrong. No, you got to do it. Y'all ain't no different from the love hip hop bitches.
now.
You're not.
Exactly.
You're not. If I can call out Cardi B for her bullshit, and if we can sit up here and call out Eva and say she's a colorist and all this other shit, what the fuck make you think that we can't say shit about your friend? No.
Um,
Motherfuckers can rap what the fuck they want to. But whatever. Go ahead, really B.
no, I feel like like I'm with you, Scotty. I feel like at this point, I just feel like the whole issue's been exhausted at nauseum. However, I think everybody keeps missing the point, and I think this may be where your frustration is coming in, Scotty. Where I sit, what frustrates me is if you don't stand for anything, you'll fall. Stand for something, you'll fall for anything. At a
Right.
certain point, we have to put a line in the sand,
Mm,
and we have to make a decision about what we can and can't live with, and what we're okay with, and what we will and will not accept.
Hmm.
And so, yes, it's TV. Yes, it's a TV show. But I'm gonna tell you what. If I truly believed that she was just ignorant to what she was saying, then maybe.
Right.
But the thing is this: I don't believe the story because I believe KL Allen when he says, "Listen, we told her in the moment what she said was wrong and what the connection of that word." I believe I believe that she was told, and I believe she knew when she said it because she
Yeah.
used it correctly.
Yeah.
exactly.
So when you sit here and like what you're not gonna do is piss on my leg and tell me it's raining.
Right.
Say listen. I would have respected her more if she had said, "Look, I know it was a low blow. I know I went for the jugular and I went too far." I would have. I'd have been like, you know what? Okay, because
Yeah, me
we've
too.
all done. But don't
Right.
sit here and play with my fucking intelligence. Excuse me, Scotty.
Right.
I'm sorry. Don't play with my intelligence and make it seem like you were totally ignorant to it because I
Hmm.
believe KL when he says, "Nah, I told her when it happened." I believe KL when he says, "Listen, I told y'all don't even put that thing on there."
I believe it too.
I think the show would have been better served if they would have used that as a teachable moment in the moment and then moved on from it, and we never had to learn about it.
Right.
I do think there's a place for uncomfortable conversations. I do think there's a dialogue for conversations on race. I absolutely believe that, but in this context, it wasn't handled in that manner. It was handled as sensationalized TV. Oh, we're gonna get some clicks and some views off of this. That's how it was handled. And now that you're getting the backlash, now all of a sudden, now you got something to say. And that's what frustrates me about this situation. Had it been handled in that manner to say, listen, you know, don't leave me with a cliffhanger talking about some, well, she's gonna get some consequences next week. No, it should have been resolved on last night's episode so we could see it. What conversation was had? Did y'all cut the camera, break the fourth wall, show us y'all pulling her aside saying, whoa, 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 whoa. That was a bridge too far right there, ma'am. You did too much. Like, I don't know what would have satisfied me, but one thing, I don't want to call nobody out in particular, but I'm going to say one thing that was just said was, why do we always have to be the ones to apologize?
Right.
Why do we always have to be okay and complacent? And what frustrates me as an educator who I teach my kids about this all the time, what frustrates me about, I don't know if it's the age group, I don't know what it is. It frustrates me that we are okay with allowing people to disrespect us.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Just because that's your friend. The thing that killed me tonight, I gotta tell you. Dre Simba gonna say, Ja told her to keep going with the N-word and say the whole lynching thing. And how Ja's responsible for all of this because he wanted the like and the click and the view. And how he's evil. And everybody wants to cancel her, but we need to cancel him. And I'm just not buying that. I don't bit more believe that somebody wants to consciously walk around with the stigma of being racist for a YouTube show that ain't there none of you bitches get paid for but Ja. I just don't believe it. I don't believe he said, so yeah, so this is gonna make everybody riled up. So I just want you to say that, you gonna lynch him and and this is gonna be the sensational thing. This is gonna be what gets people talking about us. Are you kidding me? No.
And let me say this, even if I believe it, let's just say I believe it. Okay, Dre, I believe what you just said to me. Do you know what somebody can't make me do?
Something I don't want to do.
Delicious is 31 years old, so okay, this happened a year ago. She was 30, maybe 29. Let me tell you what somebody can't make me do. They can't make me say racist things and throw out racial epithets. Now, I'm going to tell you what they can't make me do. I don't give a damn. And like you said, for you don't even get a paycheck for, ciao bye. Ciao bye.
Teddy wants the link, Scotty.
It should be in your email, child.
I told his ratchet ass it was in his email, but I'll put it in the chat.
Did you call him ratchet? No, did you call him ratchet?
Yeah.
But I understand your frustration, Scotty, because it's like everybody's just missing the point, and I'm sick of feeling like I have to apologize for everybody. I'm sick of feeling like I have to be the apologist, and I always have to educate people. There are, it's this thing called a library. It's full of books.
I did not get said email, sir. So you know.
Like I said, go ahead, really, because I'm not giving him any attention
to him. Like when Sherelle was like, she called him and asked him what the word lynch means. That same phone that you used to call him on got this thing where you could just, I know you have the internet. You, as El Teddy likes to say, or Al Gore's good internet, you can Google the word for your damn.
Pretty much.
Just saying.
Well, like I
Oh,
said,
I
it's
did
probably
get
gonna be
the link, Scotty. I'm sorry. I did get it. I'm
like,
sorry.
mm,
I apologize.
uh-huh. I feel
You said it.
You better hold on to that. You know you don't get too many of those. You better hold on to that for dear life. Okay.
I feel
Well, let me say this. Can I say something?
mm,
Sure.
You better be answering for him, and this is his platform. But
Right. My bad. I did answer for him.
um, let me say this. I made it through like the first 20 minutes of what that young man Jai had to say. First of all, sir,
oh Lord.
your platform that you have with this G Status ATL hustle is not the platform to have this kind of discussion. You over here talking about you want to have this discussion, and discussion needs to be had. While that may be true, your messy ass reality show on YouTube is not the avenue to which you want to have this discussion, especially with known ignorant people who are telling you they are not knowledgeable about it at all. That's I don't buy it, and I definitely don't buy it after, like I keep saying, you went on this whole and we're still doing it today, proliferating the hate. Every chance you got, you were showing it. Every chance you got, you were trying to show where people were angry about it and where it incensed people and people were living, and you were relishing in it. You were. This is, like you said, this is exactly what you wanted. And now you're going to have to reap the consequences, which means we're not coming back. Now, there are going to be some people who come back, and that's okay. But there are many of us who are not coming back at all.
Mm-mm.
At all. You don't get to say, oh, we need to have this discussion. First of all, and let me stop this. No, we don't need to have the racism discussion no more. We know what racism is. We know what white America did to black people. We know what these yet to be United States of America have done to us as black people. We don't need to keep hashing that out. We don't need to
Right.
keep conversation. You don't ask Jewish people to keep having a conversation about Hitler and what he did, do you? You don't do that. You don't do that with people who come from certain countries in Eastern Europe, talking about what the USSR did to them for decades on it. You don't ask them to keep reliving that, but you want us to keep reliving our pain, trauma, and torture and the atrocities. And we need to have a conversation. No, we don't need to have a conversation. No, you need to educate yourself. If you don't know, you need to go educate yourself. And who you should be blaming is not the school system. You should be blaming your parents or whoever raised you. Because just like if I grew up in a Jewish household, guess what my parents gonna do? They don't care if the school ever tells me. They're gonna make sure when I leave their house, I'm gonna know everything that happened to my people, and I'm gonna know exactly when to call somebody out. And as a black parent, your parents should have taught you what it means to be lynched. Your parents should have taught you what racism in America is for you as a black person. And then we don't have to keep talking about, oh, let's have a conversation. Let's have a conversation. Come on, that you know what, Scotty? That would be like you having something. Just think about one of the most horrific things that you had happen to you in your life that you had to live through. And every time you turn around, somebody keeps saying, oh, we need to talk about that, Scotty. Oh, we need to talk about that, Scotty. Oh, let's have a conversation about that. Oh, you're gonna be like, no, I'm not having that conversation about it anymore.
Exactly.
And that's where I was with what he was saying. Conversation. No, you should have had that maybe with her off camera, never let it air, and kept it moving. And said, baby, you're being removed from this show because you said that. It ain't gonna never see it. We ain't gonna have your brand or whatever tarnished like that. But baby, we're not gonna have you on the show anymore, and we're gonna keep it moving.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a good example. Let me use this because somebody earlier today, I don't remember who it was, but somebody earlier today was using the example of what happened with RuPaul. So for those of you that follow RuPaul and RuPaul's Drag Race, and you saw what happened with Sherry Pie on this season, RuPaul never had a conversation with his audience about what happened with Sherry Pie. Either you knew or you didn't. Either you followed the story on social media or whatever, or you didn't. All he did was put a disclaimer up at the beginning of the episode saying, due to some allegations that have come to our attention, Sherry Pie was disqualified from the competition. And at every opportunity they got, they cut her ass out. When they couldn't cut her no more, they limited her as much as possible. But you know what they never did? They never had a conversation with us as an audience about it. It was handled behind closed doors, edited accordingly, and they went the fuck on with their life. Here's what bothers me about this whole situation the most. What bothers me the most about this whole situation is that I'm looking at black men who are the most hunted species in our country giving a pass to this. You are the ones that are going to be lynched first.
Black and gay, baby. That's two things at us.
And y'all are the ones that are giving this a pass. I get it if you have a personal relationship with this person, but at what point do you say you are somebody I don't want to be friends with? At what point do you say you are somebody that I can't fuck with?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. At a certain point, we have to say, you know what? I can't go for that.
Right.
I can't. And you know, but here's what's fucked up. You'll cut her off if she sleep with your man, though, won't you? I bet you cut her off then.
Right.
I bet you stop fucking with her then. Let her flirt with your man. Let her flirt with your man. I bet you cut her ass the hell off.
I
would say this,
the only reason Josh showed himself in the light of day or in the light of the camera light is because he knows, Houston, we have a problem. He knows there's a serious problem. And he knows you can come over there, try and smile, kiki, giggle, and laugh about it all you want. Dear one, you did this. You had the whole N-word thing could have never seen the light of day. The whole lynching thing could have never seen the light of day. We would have never known. You could have saved the show, saved your brand and everything. You done messed yourself up. You done messed the show's brand up. And you done messed the people associated with the show up.
Mm-hmm.
And then go ahead, Scotty. I'm sorry.
All I'm saying is, and this is probably gonna be my last time talking about this because I'm exhausted talking about it right now. I'm over it now. But I would say that, like I said earlier, the thing that gets me the most is that people are, like really be said, they're missing the picture here. They're not trying to see. They're not trying to see what's really going on here. All they thinking that we're doing is attacking Delicious. I just feel like we're not attacking her. I feel like we're holding her accountable.
Exactly.
And that's what you're supposed to do when a motherfucker wrong. Like just like that nigga that called. Just like that nigga that called earlier today and came in thinking he finna come in and check a bitch and got checked before he could check any damn body. Talking about what he say to us in the chat? Well, when he came when Yes Bitch let him on, talking some shit about he wanted to deflect and make this about Charlie. We're not talking about Charlie because Charlie wasn't even on this week's episode. So what the fuck we talking about him for? We already called him out for what the fuck he did. The difference between Charlie and Delicious is that Delicious did one thing already. She said the N-word and the F-word.
Right.
We talked to her about it already on our platform. Then she turns around and says something about lynching somebody. 2 weeks later, of course she's going to be the topic of fucking discussion.
And let's not forget. Right, and let's not forget her non-apology with that. It was, well, I'm sorry for saying the N-word, but he was doing in ass shit. What? You don't get to apologize for saying the word and then say the word. You don't do. That's like I punch El Teddy in the face and apologize, and then I punch him in the other. Like, you don't get to do that again.
Ma'am, you're not going to be punching me. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Because if you do, I'm going to shoot you. I'm not going to fight you, but I will shoot you right in the throat.
Child.
And my first bullet wound will always be throat. Just know I'm aiming for your throat first. If I'm going to shoot you, it's throat first. I'm just letting you know.
My whole thing is everybody is like, instead of canceling her and talking about her, we need to educate her. Y'all should have did that when she was doing it amongst y'all presence.
Exactly.
It shouldn't be us educating her because y'all knew her before we did. Y'all should have been nipped that in the bud, and this wouldn't even be a conversation.
Exactly. That is not our job, hon. Not.
Just like that's just Shavonda Drake Simba was saying. Well, she doesn't use the N word around me. It's in her music, sir. Like I didn't know it was in her music because I never heard any of her music, but it's in her music. What do you mean she doesn't use it around you? It's in her music.
Okay, you can. Let me put the link in here. I'm
And
gonna let you
Joshua,
know right now. Go ahead, Ruby.
no, I was gonna say, Joshua, I'm sorry if you felt like we misunderstood what you said yesterday on El Teddy's live. He said he was not defending Delicious. He said y'all read me. I wasn't defending Delicious. So if we misunderstood that, then I'm sorry. I'll speak for the group.
I don't even remember who or what he said. Or there's so much. Not that I'm trying to belittle. I just so much that happened since my live yesterday. God,
Nobody worried about El Teddy.
I'm gonna let you join, but I'm gonna tell you right now, please be respectful, because baby.
No, Demetrius is. I think Demetrius is will be respectful.
Oh, okay.
Demetrius.
Yeah, because we almost had an issue today on
don't worry, I'm the guard dog. I'm here for it. I'll be. You know me. I love to play guard dog. Come on. I'm waiting for you at the door.
No, Demetrius is cool. Or at least let me just say my experience has been.
Okay, but he's here, so let me add him.
Hey, Demetrius.
How are you?
Hey.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi. Oh my gosh, this is so weird because I watch you guys all on YouTube and it's like, whoa, now I'm here. So
Okay.
but I seen what you guys are talking about. Now I haven't watched that show or anything, but I kind of got the gist of what you guys were talking about, and I feel like this kind of relates to a question that I kind of have with my family. Like my family is mixed race. My mom is black. My dad is half black, half white. So I live in Lincoln, Nebraska, and I live my part where I live. Excuse me, I'm a little tipsy. Sorry, y'all. But
it's all good. It's all good.
Let me go fix my drink now.
I live in an apartment complex where my uncle lives next to me and my grandmother lives next to me. Now my grandma, she needs a little bit of assistance. Now my uncle, he's whatever. Now I originally came from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and when I decided that I wanted to move back home, my uncle was like, you know what? He was not happy about it. He was like, you gave like my freedom, I will no longer have it. I'm upset with you. And then I'm just giving y'all the gist because I don't want to go on and on. But I came back home. He knocked on my door and proceeded to tell me, I apologize, but I meant everything I said. I hope you get the job, but not really. I'm like, what does that mean? I don't understand that. And then, about around the time Black is King came out, now I know really you don't like Beyonce. That's cool. But you know what? All I gotta say is I ain't trying to hear no white person tell me nothing about Black is King. I'd rather hear that from you. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. And you know what? I live for you, and whoever don't like Beyonce, I live for y'all because I follow a lot of Beyonce fans. So I live for people who don't like Beyonce. It's cool. I'm a stan, but not that crazy. Hell no. But anyways, when it came to Black is King, right? I watched that film. I enjoyed it, and my grandmother, my granny, aka my granny, she watched it. Like 20 minutes of it, she came into my house. She's like, you know what? I don't really understand it. You know, like, why did she have to have a butler come and brush her teeth and all that? Like, and I'm just like, why you mad about a white butler? You know what I'm saying? Like, a white person can't be a butler. You know what I'm saying? I'm really hesitant. I guess what I'm saying is, it's like I walk on eggshells with my white side, because that's all I got over here.
Do the white people? Let me ask you a question, Demetrius. The white people do you hang around that you know or hang around or that are in your family, are they allowed to say the N-word?
Hell no. Hell no. I correct them. You ain't about to say no N-word in my face. Oh, hell no. And I also checked them too as well. I said, if you say it around the right ones, they will pop you in your motherfucking face. I do say that to them. They will. The right ones. I check them.
If anybody ever wants to understand how other races deal with being offended, go call Nick Cannon and ask him how that worked out for him.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Watch this. Really be, or all of us on here should remember. Remember when Michael Jackson made They Don't Really Care About Us? We talking about the king of pop.
Yeah.
Baby, when the Jewish community descended upon him and made him change the lyrics to that song, they were not here for it. Which went back to what his song was talking about. They don't really care about us. All I want to say is they don't really care about us. But you saw, they do not play them games. And you know what's so funny? Other races and other ethnicities applaud other races when they call out injustices that happen to them. But black people do it. We pulling the race card. Why are you always pulling the race card? Oh no!
Why can't we just move on?
El Teddy, you guys, I got a good point. I got a good point on this. Oh, exactly what El Teddy was saying. Okay, now when Beyonce dropped that teaser trailer for Black is King, just the poster, right? I posted that poster on Facebook, right? My aunt, who is white, she said, "Oh, that's not cool." And I said, "What you talking about?" Now, I didn't think that she was going to comment what she said after what I said. I just thought maybe I missed a text message or something. But she was like, not... Oh, sorry. What?
No, I was listening.
Nobody else. I'm so sorry. But she was like, not to say you're prejudiced, but I feel like that statement is racist. Black is king. I said, what the hell? Like, what? And I was so up in arms about it, and I didn't know how to respond to it, because that was my very, very first time dealing with that kind of stuff. So I called my granny. Now, mind you, me and my granny, we really tight. We really close. So I thought she would be on my side. Now, this was the very first time that I ever dealt with that kind of stuff with her. And you know what she told me, y'all? She told me, delete that post and apologize.
Wow.
I did not do that.
Wow.
And
you know, the people descended from the Caucasus Mountains never like to be made in an inferior role. They don't like to be feel like they're inferior, and by any stretch of the imagination. Anytime you let them realize that they are inferior, they're going to manipulate the system. They're going to cheat. They're going to defraud, wrong, and do anything they can to get back to the place where they can be superior. Listen, I'm trying to tell you what I know. I'm trying to tell you what I know.
That hurt. Let me tell y'all something. That hurt me so deep to the core. I was like, for real, coming from you? Like, I thought you was on my side. And
you know what? And I'm glad you brought that up, Demetrius, because that goes to kind of like what we're talking about, because people are talking about how Sherrod and Lando may deal with Delicious and so forth. But these are people who are in your family. And you can't very well say, oh, well, damn, that, that ain't my family no more. They will forever be your family. You can say, I may not, interact with them. You do have that choice, but you don't have the choice of not acknowledging them as your family, because that is your family. And so that's interesting that you would bring that up, because, in the gay LGBTQIA world, and Scotty and Terrence, you probably can attest to this as well. Sometimes your family is your friends. Your friends are your family. They do, in a lot of instances, end up being closer than your family. So it's not as I get it and I understand it. And sometimes, and this is just to educate people outside of the spectrum, the LGBTQIA plus spectrum, that it's very hard for somebody in the LGBTQIA plus spectrum to say, fuck, that's my friend, but fuck them. I'm just going to detach from them, because sometimes they are family for you, where even in their wrongdoings, you will sit there and you will ride or die for them. And they could be wrong as all get out. And you say, but nah, I can't let this person go, because that's family for you. And so there is that aspect to it that I don't think that we have addressed. And I just wanted to say that with regard to, people who may be friends with her, because this is a tough time for them. This is just as hard for them as friends of this person as it is for her.
And El Teddy, you just spoke to the choir, because look, I just came out not that long ago. Now, mind you, I'm 23. It took me 2 years being on my own, living on my own, to finally come out. And when I came out, I felt so free. I felt so happy. But now coming out, it's just like, wow, like, I don't have to deal with just being Black. I got to deal with being Black and gay. You know what I'm saying? And like being in Lincoln, Nebraska, with all these white folks, and not only do my own white family don't appreciate me being Black, but they use the F slur. So it's like,
they say the F bomb.
Oh yes, they do. They
wow.
Do. And you know what? I try so hard not, because my family, no matter what side, my Black side or my white side, they always say I'm always emotional. They always say that. So
you know what, Scotty? I'm going to give you a moment of self-disclosure. I have my own situations with my own mother. I ain't even never said this on my own channel. So, Scotty, you're getting an exclusive.
Do tell.
As most people know, I was raised by my grandmother. My mother had me at a very young age. My mother, when I was born, my mother was 15. She turned 16 a month after I was born. My grandmother was like, nah, I'm not going to let you mess this up. So from the hospital, my grandmother and grandfather told me, my mom wasn't even allowed to take me out of the hospital. They took me out of the hospital. And I was raised by my grandmother and grandfather from that point on. My mom then went on to, live a life on, strung out on, that was the crack era, crack epidemic and all of that. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is, when my grandmother passed away, and I'm gonna keep it together, so don't worry, I'm all right. But when my grandmother passed away, that was one of the most traumatic experiences. She passed away, and the day that I found out that she passed away, my best friend called me, because I texted him and told him, and I was boohoo crying. I was like, at the beginning, like when I first found out, I went outside and I was on my phone and I was crying. And I came back toward my house. I was at my house. My mom was in my house. I came back in my house because I had just hung up the phone with my boyfriend. I'm not my boyfriend, dear God, my best friend. And I overheard my mom on the phone. And her conversation on the phone said, "I'm saving this motherfucker outside crying like a little F-bomb and shit like that. And I remember just being like, wait a minute. I was so like taken aback that she was talking about me. She was talking about me like that, using that word, first of all. Second of all, knowing I had just lost the woman who raised me for you, mind you. You know what I'm saying? Your own mama. You should have been crying harder than I was crying. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Mm.
But not only did she belittle the pain that I was going through at that time, but then to use that slur on me at that time, it struck so hard. It hit such a nerve. To this day, my mom knows our relationship. I told her is forever not going to. It was already, not as close as most mother-child relationships are. But I told her after that, it would never be the same. It was irreparable damage. There's nothing we can talk about to make that better. Now, do I get to cut her off and say she's not my mom? Absolutely not. But is our relationship ever going to be, what I thought? And I would have, she thought I would have never heard that. I just happened to be on my way back in the house. And before I opened the door, I heard her on the phone talking to one of her friends. And that came out. I was beside myself at that point.
I know I would have been lost for words and probably
Right.
had
Right.
Y'all,
I
just
made
one
her
more
get out my
question.
house. I was like, yeah, you got to go. You got to get out my house. I don't know where you going, but you got to get out my house. And Really B knows I still do a lot for my mother. A whole lot. Really B can tell you. But that's just out of the respect that I know that my grandmother would not want me to not do for her. But we still have a very not normal mother-son relationship.
understood.
And just one more question. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead. You
Sorry.
good.
Just one more question, y'all, and then I'll leave the chat. Because I know y'all wanted to finish chatting what y'all was talking about. But that what El Teddy was talking about, that led me on to like my father. Now, me and my dad, we never had the best relationship. Like, we actually were apart for almost 10 years, like the beginning of my 10 years. And he always tried to fight to see me, and even when we saw each other, we never really got that bond. But when I came out, that was when it was all kind of F words, all kind of like you about to get HIV and all that stuff. And now I don't know how y'all felt when y'all told y'all family, like when you guys came out to your family and stuff. But like when I came out to him and I told him that, I don't know why I expected different. But when he said all that stuff, it really hurt me. And when I told everybody else, they were like, well, I don't know why you expected different. But coming from him, it really, really hurt. And it was just
I'm
like
guessing.
because go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I'm guessing it hurt because you probably remember him as a child fighting to be in your life.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like after you were old enough to have him in your life, and you decided to open up to him and tell him one of the most private things at that time that was in your life, and for him to give you his ass to kiss was hurtful. That would be hurtful to anyone.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So it's not even about you being sensitive or being a punk ass bitch, as they would say. It's it's just being human at the end of the day because I know not to make this about me or anything like that, but I know that and this wasn't even a parent, this was a cousin of mine, and we were very close growing up. It was like he was the type of cousin that would fight for you, literally fight for you. You know what I mean? Like a motherfucker couldn't say my name wrong without him trying to beat their ass. So it's when I was like 21, I had really just came out the closet to my mother and my sister, and I was already dealing with that. So he came. I guess he found out through the streets that I was gay, and when he confronted me about it, I was, F this, F that. I need to change my last name. You this, you that. You ain't none of my damn cousin. I don't know who the fuck you are. All this other stuff. And to be honest, I felt the same way you felt when your dad responded because that's not a person that I expected that from. Like I expected him to be more understanding and um more down to earth about it than ignorant and cruel and mean. So that was a fucked up ass feeling. Now, about 6 years ago, he apologized to me. You know what I mean? Like he apologized and stuff. I didn't talk to him for 4 years. Our other cousins made us talk and he apologized. And it's cool, he apologized, but it's still that thing. I think El Teddy and Terrence may understand what I'm saying. Even though he apologized and all is well, it's kind of like it's still that awkwardness in
It's
the
there's
air.
still this. It still stings. Even when you see them, when you see that person, you still know that was inside. And
Mm-hmm.
something that's inside of you, even if you tell me, you know what, I'm sorry, dot, you still have that inside of you. Things that are inside you that just come out of you like that, you don't just do away with that just nearly. It don't just go away. That takes, and I'm not saying that people can't change, but and while you may change, I think people negate the fact that even if you change, the person that you hurt or affected may not have changed
Mm-hmm.
and may
Mhm.
not be ready and willing necessarily to say, "Oh, I see you're changing because you change. I automatically just accept you and you'll change." It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, and it's like even for me, like after he apologized, it's like okay, whatever, we good. But it's nothing like it was, and I know now as a 31 years old that it'll never be the way it once was. Like we only hang out when it's amongst the group, amongst the rest of the cousins. We don't hang out alone. It was only maybe one time he was alone. He took me to work one time, and it was dead silent. Like it was kind of like it was small talk, but it was like it's like because it gets to the point to where you think about it and you're like, well, did you really forgive that person? In my mind, I know I forgave him. I apologized. He apologized to me, and I let it go. But I guess it's just one of those little situations that I would never forget. I'm gonna always be reminded. Like I will always hear that in the back of my head. It's gonna always be
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Cause
So
I'm drinking right now only because of the reason because my father is such a
I
fucking
see you with your
asshole
metal straw over there. Shouts
that
out to the metal straw committee. I see you with your metal straw over there. Yes, yes, metal
my
straw.
father is such a
Yes.
fucking asshole that he won't let my sister come to my mother's wedding this weekend. Okay, and my mother won't. And my sister's supposed to be at her mother's house, and my mother won't even let her come just because of that, because she don't want no fucking drama. It's like no matter if I don't even want to deal with him, no matter who I want to fuck with, it's like see nobody just because I'm this way. Like, what the hell is it? Like, I can't even have a relationship with my own sister, and my own sister accept me for who I am. I'm
mm.
sorry, y'all. We turned it into what?
No, sometimes these
Sorry.
conversations have to be had
No,
sometimes.
you fine. I mean, I think the
You
conversation is
too.
talking about tolerance and understanding. And again, this is why this stuff cuts deep. Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just heard what y'all said, and I thought about the race stuff because I'm fed up with it over here, and then I'm fed up with this other crap over here because I'm just like, okay, like y'all already damn near about to say the damn N word. Y'all already saying the damn F word. My father already doing this other stuff. Like, I need to get up there. I need to get the hell out of Lincoln, Nebraska. But hell, Lincoln, Nebraska is cheap as hell. So I'm gonna stay here because it's cheap.
I know that's right.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
I mean, and the thing of, and going back to the subject at hand, you got to think about when you allow this kind of stuff, how many people are triggered when they hear that type of language and you allow it. Think about if I lived in California where you got two people, that were hung to death recently during all of this over in California, okay? People who have had nooses and stuff put on their property or in their cubicle at work and things like that. And for you to just nilly-willy just let this see the light of day and then say a conversation needs to be had. No, we don't need no conversation had. There have been too many conversations had. Your conversation, especially with the platform that you have, sir, is not going to help. Let's just be clear. And if you think that you're helping Delicious, who knew exactly what she was doing and saying, it's not.
Thank you. Keep reiterating that. I hate the fact that everybody is like, she didn't know what it means. She had no idea. Bitch, move on now. I don't want to hear none of that.
Listen, you use that term as well as any plantation owner back 200 years ago. You had intent. You used it perfectly. It was the right subject verb agreement, dear one. It was the right connotation and denotation. The audience, it was right for the audience at hand. All of the things that I, as English teacher, would hype on in my writing students were hit. You checked all the boxes. So you cannot tell me you didn't know what the word meant. You cannot tell me because a word that you don't know what it means, you don't know how to use.
Right.
Not that effortlessly, not that perfectly. I don't buy it.
She knows.
And you know what, y'all?
Like I said, if she ain't used it wrong, I might get the benefit of the doubt. But you said, that was perfect subject verb agreement, child.
And not just subject verb agreement, the audience. You knew the audience. You knew that if you said that word to a black person, because you wouldn't have said, I guarantee you she wouldn't have used the word lynch if she was dealing with a person of her own race. How about that?
All.
I wonder, ask her how many times she's ever used that word with somebody outside of the black race. Even if you said you heard, I heard other straight black men using it. Mm-hmm. How many times have you ever used that word in your life outside of when you used it on this show? And then my second question is, how many times did you use that word without that person being black? Exactly. I ain't here for it. I'm not here for it. I'm not giving people the passes.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Now, maybe y'all can help me with this. Please. I hope y'all can help me with this. Please. But it's like, what do I do when my family talk that shit or even like kind of fetishize black men or black women? Because I got that on the like my grandmother, my grandmother and her sister, my uncle, they fetishize they fetishize my damn on my mama's side, and I'd be like, what the hell, and it even got to a point. Now look, y'all, I feel so damn bad. I even apologized to my aunt, and my aunt didn't even hear the shit. I felt so bad because it was a time when I was coming out, to my family, and I was coming out to my aunt, I was coming out to my uncle at the same time, and whatever happened, but my aunt was saying some shit. Granted, she was wrong, But my uncle was like, that black bitch. And I was like, what?
No
But looking
words.
back
honey.
over that, even though my aunt didn't hear that shit, I still feel like I did a disservice because I never dealt with that, So these first things, it's just like I feel like I should have done more. I don't know. Like, how do I deal with this? Y'all, and if y'all don't want to answer, y'all don't have to answer that. But I'm just like, how the hell do I do it?
I don't know.
Deal with the people that
Yeah.
wants to
This
deal
all
with
ties
you.
in what y'all talking about.
No, deal with the people that want to deal with you. But my motto is I don't have time for no forced relationships.
Right.
If you don't want to deal with me, I will love you from a distance and my life gonna go on. I'm still gonna have to pay my bills. I'm still got to wake up in the morning. I still gotta go to work, put my clothes on, put gas in the car. Like you can't let that stop you from
That's
what
not your
you have
cross to
going.
bear. That is not
Yeah,
your
it's
cross
not
to
your
bear.
cross to bear. No forced
If they want to
relationship.
be
If
racist,
somebody want to deal with you, fine. If they don't, fine.
if they want to be bigoted and racist, then what you have to say to them is, if you want to do that, you don't want me a part of your existence, and I'm okay with
And
that.
that's it.
I got my own life.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all. That's it. It ain't nothing else to be said after that.
Yeah. You don't have to. You don't have to. You know how many? I have a huge family. You know how many of my family members I don't talk to, I don't deal with, whatever. I might see you at the family cookout. I might see you at the next funeral, and that's gonna be it. We gonna see you at the next funeral, honey, and I'm gonna look at you. You gonna look at me. We might not even speak, and I'm gonna keep it moving. And I'm gonna go back to my house, get in my car, drive back to my house, or get on that good plane, fly back home, and not deal with you no more because it's not worth it. That's not your cross to bear, and you have your own life to live, just like they have their own racist and bigoted life to live, and it's
Right.
not fair to you to have to be the poster child or answer all questions for the entirety of the black race.
Nope. Like I tried to tell
It-
Sherrod, that's not your bullet. I tried to tell him, so I'm telling you the same thing. That's not your bullet. That's not. You can't bear somebody else. That's not your bullet. And like El tell I don't have the same family dynamic that you guys deal with when you're dealing with, coming out as gay and having to deal with your family reaction to that, whether they accept it or not accept it or are insensitive to it. So I don't have that issue, but I would say, and I can't tell anybody what to do with their family, but I will say that I agree with El Teddy that you just have to put it in perspective and deal with it in that manner. But it's not, that's their problem. It's not yours. That's their issue.
Yeah, it's just so hard because I've always dealt with like a black side and a white side, and it was like I could never please both.
Yeah, you having that
Never
tightrope.
ever.
Yeah,
It was
I can't.
it
See,
was
I don't.
always like if I
Yeah.
favored one, the other side was mad. So it was just like I could never do it. I don't know, but whatever. So
No problem. No problem.
I'm glad you came on because it
Yeah, I'm glad you
definitely
came on too, bro.
Yeah, we were able to have the conversation from a different dynamic. Yeah. I saw. Yeah. Okay. Well, I have to get ready to get off here anyway, too, Scotty.
Oh, yeah, I'm about
You
to
ain't
go.
got
I'm
nothing
sleepy
to do. It
too.
ain't like you got to go teach tomorrow. All these
Right. It ain't like
I
you got
one
no.
too.
It ain't like you got
I
trade
got
over
one
there
too.
or do.
How about these two? I have two of them.
Ooh.
How about that?
One is for you, and one.
Well,
Mine are longer. Mine
Ah.
are longer. That's what he said.
well,
Mine
I'm
is
about to
longer. Mine
those
is pretty
videos
long.
I
It is pretty long.
and the ones those videos I said I was doing tonight won't get done till tomorrow. Fuck it. I'm
Yeah,
sleepy. I'm
because
tired.
now I'm not gonna do my green leaf until tomorrow.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
Mine is already up.
Yeah, we saw.
Watch this. I stopped watching Greenleaf in the middle just to come on this live, Scotty. Just want you to know that.
Listen, Greenleaf had me all in my fifis
I
tonight.
already had to watch
Telling you,
my
they
kids
really had.
from the beginning. They got Charity
Yeah.
got me in the beginning.
The beginning and the end got me.
Yeah.
I ain't got to
Well,
the end yet, so don't tell me.
well, we can
Okay.
end this now, child. Thanks. Is it Dimitri? Is that your name? Okay. Well, thank you for coming on.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Demetrius. Demetrius.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
okay.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on. Thank you, really be Terrence and Il Teddy for coming on. Now I'm about to go to sleep. I tried to go to sleep. And talk to y'all another time.
Yeah, you need to invite a friend over, Sky.
So
Invite
you
who
could
over?
live with him and be grown.
Right.
Have him put his meat in the small of your back.
Oh dear God.
That's good to sleep.
Why are
Listen,
you always so nasty all the
it's
time?
nothing. Listen, really be. You ain't never went to sleep with a man's peeing in the small of your back and they ain't feel good.
I have.
Exactly.
Never done that.
You
I
never did.
have.
Girl, that is one of the best
Please.
things in the
Better
world.
believe it. I
Girl,
have
you ain't lived, honey.
several times, girl.
Girl.
And the
Yeah,
man
Okay,
wasn't
bye
my man.
y'all.
He was
Bye
somebody else.
y'all. Bye
Okay.
y'all. Bye. 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 Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Girl.
Uh-uh. Uh-uh.
Good night. Good night.